Part 3. You will hear two teachers called Andrew and Sarah discussing how to prepare students for a geology field trip. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Sarah. It's great that we've got some free time this afternoon to decide what advice to give when we talk to the students on the geology field trip to Iceland.
Hi, Andrew. Yes, I've already jotted down a few ideas about the issues that come up on these trips.
We should include something about existing rules and laws that apply, like the country code.
Or the mountain code.
Yes, the country code's mainly just common sense, so let's include the mountain one. That's what they need to know about for geology. Then there are similar guidelines for caving, but they won't need those in the part of Iceland we're going to.
OK.
Right, let's think about when they're on site and looking after the environment. I don't mean not dropping litter, that's obvious, or like closing gates. But what about not scaring birds or damaging rare plant life? Actually, what I think happens is that they all become so focused on what they're doing that they forget about other things around them. It's not intentional damage.
And we have to include something about collecting samples. That's vital for geology students.
Yeah, there's quite a list of rules about that. For example, only take minute samples and only if necessary.
Yes, that's the golden rule. That has to come first, and then I guess never take a fossil away from the area.
And when you do disturb an area to take a sample, make sure you leave it as you found it.
OK.
And there's something we still have to find out about. Isn't there something about how you can never take a sample from a wall?
You mean a man-made wall or something like a natural rock face?
A wall, like of a building.
Don't you just have to get permission from the owner? But I'm not sure, to be honest, so we need to check that. Another really important thing is advice on safety, especially as a lot of our trips are along the coast.
Yes, well, you can usually hear if any large boulders start to tumble down a cliff.
And you realise you're on soft sand when you start sinking. But when people are working on the seashore, they often fail to notice that the tides come in and they're cut off by water. That's what we should make a point about.
OK.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Before we do anything else, could we just talk about the reading packs we put together for the students to read before they go on the field trip to Iceland?
Absolutely. They'll need to do most of the reading beforehand because there won't be time while we're away, and there's a lot of technical data. That's certainly the case in the pack called Geothermal Fields.
Does that cover industrial uses of geothermal energy?
No, it deals with harnessing the heat generated from the earth in geothermal areas to grow vegetables for local consumption. They'll need to understand the geological characteristics that make this possible.
Right. The reading pack called The Hotspot will help them understand how Iceland differs from other islands formed at the same time, like Bermuda and the Canary Islands. It's the existence of the hotspot that explains the rock formations of this island and makes it unlike any of the others.
Now, I definitely think they should read the pack about glaciers. They need to be aware that although the ice in glaciers up in the mountains can stay frozen for thousands of years, if anything happens to make the glaciers melt suddenly, the water produced pours down the valleys and it can mean that whole villages suddenly have to be evacuated.
Right. Then the basalt rock pack shows how Iceland's landscape, like many other islands, has been moulded over millions of years by lava flows from volcanic eruptions, especially the area in the northwest of the island.
And lastly, reading about geothermal power plants will inform them of Iceland's plan to stop using energy derived from carbon in the future. Heating and electricity will come from sustainable sources which won't cause any pollution.
I think that'll be all the reading they'll have time for.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 3.